Hi, Muhammad. Let's take a look at this last set of essays you sent us. This is about green energy. Here's what you wrote. Currently, countries, both developed and developing, are giving priority to green energy. Some people advocate that it cuts down the cost substantially. Get rid of the and rate it as environmentally LLY friendly, contrary to those who classify as a security threat to energy supply. I agree that innovative means of energy generation are not only cost effective, but also less deteriorating to nature without the. Okay, that's fine. There is an increasing emphasis without the ES on adopting environmentally, ALLY again, friendly methods of power production such as solar energy, primarily to sustain the constant supply, singular, for the future. Consequently, most recent developments in the production mechanisms have proved cheaper and less impactful on the environment largely. I don't like this word here, largely. For instance, a recent report released by the UN confirms that solar energy is 60% cheaper than ancient coal method. Okay, this is underdeveloped. Let me tell you why. Because you're supposed to talk about, first of all, green energy and how it's good both for the environment and is more cost effective. Here, you really just develop this idea of it being cheaper. Okay? You didn't talk of anything at all. You said here just, okay, less impactful, but you didn't develop it. So rather than just throwing both of these ideas into one, essentially one sentence, I would have separated it, okay? So what I would suggest here is phrasing this sentence somewhat. Before we do that, I have to also point out that I don't really understand what this expression here means, production mechanisms. So let's change this sentence around like this. Consequently, most recent developments in the production of energy or in the production of renewable energy have proved cheaper than fossil fuel energy. All right, and then you can use this statistic. Then you could go on to talk about how these renewable forms of energy are also environmentally more friendly. And you could then support that idea by saying how they reduce carbon emissions by 30% or by 80% or whatever. Okay, but you do have to develop both aspects of this. Here we go. Reduce costs and are better for the environment. So again, the way I would suggest doing this is idea and support for cost, idea and support for environment, okay? And that will help you to make sure that you're on target with task achievement. Okay. And then I didn't really like this ancient coal method. I mean, really, how ancient? That's probably not the right word here. So cheaper than coal and other fossil fuels, just that's appropriate, okay? Let's move on. On the other hand, countries are using the latest methods of power generation as a tool to bully neighboring countries, get rid of the, as a tool to bully the, let me try it one more time, as a tool to bully neighboring countries into enforcing ing their agenda and gain regional supremacy. For example, a water treaty was signed between India and Pakistan, but recently India has reduced the supply with false claims, no, comma here and lowercase w, with false claims that there is a shortage of water to continue further supply to Pakistan. At the same time, India has a number of dams built near Pakistan, get rid of two, no, near the Pakistani border. And in the event of any arms escalation, no semicolon here, just a comma is enough, India can release the water at an unprecedented flow, which can cause chaos in Pakistan Full stop. You don't need that for examples, floods. All right, I don't understand this paragraph. It's off topic, Muhammad, and it's off topic because you're talking about something totally different. We're not talking about energy security here. First of all, this is not what they mean by energy security. So what I want you to do is look it up, see what is referred to by energy security. I definitely think that there's some sort of misunderstanding of the term, which is why you then developed your paragraph like this. I think that what you're writing is very interesting, but again, it's off topic, and so that's really going to cost you in terms of task achievement. Okay, let's move on. To recapitulate, there are plenty of benefits associated with green energy, but attached vulnerabilities may cause serious damage. I predict this debate to continue largely because of the relevance of power in modern times, where we are adopting automation in every field of life. All right, that's lovely. So the good news is that the vocabulary is good, most of the grammar is good. Also, coherence and cohesion are well controlled. For me, the biggest problem here, and I'm going to say this as clearly as I can because I know you mentioned it in your email, for me, it's task achievement. Here we have a problem with being on topic. It definitely was not on topic. And here we have an underdeveloped answer. So I think I was pretty clear about how you should have developed that first part, that first paragraph. And I think you should understand now at this point what's wrong here. Those are the weak spots for me. The vocabulary, like I said, was good. You had some nice things like cuts down costs substantially. You had something about like regional supremacy. So I liked all of that. That was very nice. Arms escalation. So some really nice terms here. Higher level, less common, and absolutely appropriate. But like I said, for me, the biggest weakness here is with task achievement. Okay, I hope that answers your question. If you want to see what this means in terms of the band descriptors, it's very easy for you to just locate the band descriptors for task 2 online, and you can see based on my feedback what this would mean for you in terms of a score. All right, let's move on to your task 1. Okay, here we've got the barking dog, so let's see what you did with that. Dear Henry, I'm writing this letter to get your attention on the nuisance. For your information, my name is Muhammed Afzal, and I'm living next to your house. As you are well aware that our walls are adjacent, and we both have quite large windows as well. All right, so there are a few issues that I have with this paragraph. Let's talk a little bit about what they are one by one. All right, you're introducing yourself to this person, which means that you don't know him, I guess, which also means that since this is the way you want to do it, you have to make this a formal letter. So Dear Henry would not be appropriate since you've never really met your neighbor before, based on what you've written here. Okay, and it's going to mean that you're going to change the tone of the entire letter. Alternatively, you could keep it as an informal letter, but then you can't say, for your information, my name is Muhammad, okay? You would have to say something different here, and we can talk about what that could be. So maybe that would be a better option here. To not introduce yourself, and instead we can just change little things about this paragraph. So let's try that instead. I am writing this letter to bring your attention to a problem I have been having recently. And now here is a good time for you to mention that the problem is this barking dog. Okay, so let's try it like that. Your dog has been barking all day and night recently, and as you are well aware that our walls are adjacent to each other and we also have quite large windows, you can imagine the noise and the distress this is causing for me. Okay, so that's one way you could have done this. Then this would be appropriate to say here, let me explain the circumstances in more detail. And then here I would prefer a semicolon or a full stop. We are extremely disturbed and our daily life is greatly impacted by the noise which is coming out of your house on a regular basis, and your dog is not prominently, and your dog is creating havoc in this regard. Okay, firstly, we would like to request if you could get your dog diagnosed to see if there's any medical condition which requires treatment to comfort the little fellow. Secondly, if you can see that your windows are properly locked to reduce, that's not a full sentence. So let's change that. Secondly, please make sure that your windows are properly locked to reduce the intensity of the noise. Lastly, please chain your dog on the other side of your house, comma, and not to the shared wall, or not to our shared wall. All right, that would have worked a little better. All right. I hope that you will take my suggestions in a positive manner and consider my recommendations to control the matter at hand, not in hand, at hand would be better here. I am looking forward to hearing from you on this matter. Regards, Muhammad. Okay. I think that if there was one thing I wanted a little more about, it was about the kind of disturbance that this is creating for you. I think you spent a lot of time talking about what you would like to happen, but there wasn't enough information about the dog and the distress it's causing you and your family. So a lot of the really nice letters that I've been seeing on this topic have described how, oh, you know, my wife and I recently had a baby and the dog wakes the baby up all the time. Or, oh, you know, I'm studying for my final exams and I'm unable to concentrate as a result of the noise that your dog is making. So most of the higher level answers that I have seen usually have some element of that as well. Let's see. Other than that, it was okay. There was some awkwardness in the expression, Muhammad. There was some, like, this was really awkward. There was some grammar stuff happening as well. Like, you had some fragmented sentences. They weren't full sentences. So it's, while you were okay in terms of task achievement, okay, there was some awkwardness, and it probably wouldn't get the kind of high score in grammar that you were hoping it would get. So it still needs a little work, all right? Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is your last set of essays with us. I don't remember if you've told us when your exam is, but let me suggest to you that you sign up for more essay corrections with us. I think that this continued feedback will be helpful to you because I'd like to see you apply some of the things that we're talking about, and I'd like to see how you write after applying these things, okay? So see if that's something you can do. There's information in this email about about signing up for more essay corrections. So I hope we get to continue working together. I want to wish you lots of luck.